Namaste, and welcome to this new moon guided meditation. Today we are experiencing a supermoon, and this is very different than what you would expect a full moon supermoon to be, because even though the new moon is considered a supermoon today, and that does mean it's closer to the earth, it's very hard to see because the new moon mostly rests in its shadow. So we're familiar with the new moon being the darker side of the moon. And so, as we mentioned in the previous full moon circle about yin energy and yang energy, this new moon would embrace the qualities of yin. So that slow, dark, quiet, still, all of those qualities that require us to go within, to be introspective, to be more intuitive, to be more alone with our emotions, our thoughts, to be able to journal and work through some of the things that may be coming up. These are more yin qualities, whereas the full moon can sometimes bring about our yang energy, right? So it's interesting because in the full moon session that we just had a couple weeks ago, we really focused on bringing the energy back down to a grounded, stable yin energy. And now as we transition into this super new moon, we probably should be thinking of how to balance the energy back to a little bit more yang if we're feeling a little too yin. Yet I think that, at least for me and for a lot of people I know, the energy isn't asking us to shift more into yang, but instead it's inviting us again to look at how we can be a little bit more yin. And I say that because this new moon in Libra is really bringing about all sorts of polarized energy. So as you know, Libra is represented by the scales. And that can be very representative of yin and yang, of cold, hot, sun, moon. There's so many different polarities that we're experiencing, not just this year in 2020, but also in the past decade, as a collective in our society. And I think that it's super important to notice those polarities, to see when we're being challenged by our beliefs, and to then understand if when we're being challenged, if that is a healthy challenge or if it's something that maybe we need to set a boundary for. And what I really mean by that is, let's say that, considering this is election time, that you're experiencing a lot of polarities in your views on politics, right? So perhaps you've got friends, family, coworkers that are not on the same side as you. And, this is a very crucial time considering everything that's built up this year in worldly events, in just our own country, in our own personal lives. And so it may feel a little frustrating or heated when you hear someone that's not agreeing with your views. And so that can bring about anger and resentment and misunderstanding and miscommunication. Whereas what Libra truly stands for and what Libra strives to provide is balance, not only in just our society with our views and our beliefs, but also in love. And I think that that's kind of something that we forget about when we're not agreeing with somebody. We may feel that if someone's not on our side, that we just don't understand them at all, when in fact, we could find a common ground. Because all of us can experience love. All of us know what love is. All of us can share love. So that can be one of our common grounds. And the more that we build up resentment and anger and try to convince someone that we are right, the more we are not sharing that love. So, and this is just one example. You can also look at, let's say, how we're treating our environment. So, beyond just the scope of this year with COVID-19, with anything that's happened in politics, with any type of controversial event that has happened, we can always look back at, well, but were we stepping forward with love or with just trying to prove that we're right? Because there's something different there, you know, just trying to prove that you are right in a situation is not the same thing as showing love and sharing love. So, in order to get everybody on the same page, we need to get everyone on that common ground of love. And we can do that by exhibiting patience, compassion, by putting others' needs first sometimes, but then also remembering when it's important and crucial to put our own needs first, right? Because as the saying goes, and this is said a lot, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So yes, it is important to give to others. It is important to be selfless, but then there's also the other end of the spectrum, the other polarity of selfless, which is selfish. And I think that selfish has this negative connotation on it, and I don't think that it should. Because being selfish means that you're just giving love back to yourself. But we've made it out to be this negative word that means that we're giving too much love to ourselves. And so I think that, especially in this time of introspection, of journaling, of looking within, it's important to see how you can be a little more selfish sometimes, while also maintaining that degree of selflessness. So it's about finding the balance and letting that intention be love for oneself and love for others, right? So beyond just being selfless and selfish, and patience and understanding and compassion, we also need to have a very strong sense of community. And so while it's important to be alone and reflect and have that introspective time on the new moon, to journal, to meditate, to do a slow, grounded yin practice, right? To really ground your energy down even more, because like I said, normally I would say, bring the energy up a little, because the yin qualities of this new moon means that we would need to balance it. But because of everything going on this year, because of the events leading up to the election coming up, because of, you know, the pandemic, the violence in the world, because of everything that we currently are experiencing in our yang society, this new moon is not calling for more yang energy, but instead it's calling for more of that grounded, still, cool, patient, loving energy. And it's so important to listen to these calls, these invitations, and really take the time to balance out the energy, right? So, as I mentioned, this is a super new moon, so the energy is amplified. So whatever you do in this new moon's energy can be amplified and it can spread into the next moon cycle. And we do have 2 full moons this month. So there's a lot of energy being set up to catapult or direct us into the end of this year's moon cycles and also into next year's moon cycles. So this is such an opportune time to sit, to reflect, to meditate, and to just be with oneself. So I don't normally give this entire briefing before going into the meditation, but I felt that was important this time. And I wanted you to understand the difference between previous new moon energy and this new moon's energy, and why I'm asking you to be still and calm and peaceful and loving to oneself and others. Because, as I mentioned before, this is the solution to the problems that we are currently in. Love is always going to be part of the solution to whatever problem that you're in. So with that being said, let's go ahead and find a comfortable seat, and we'll transition now into the guided meditation. So as you can see, I'm sitting up on a couple pillows. You can use a rolled up blanket, a bolster, a pillow yourself, or you can sit on 2 blocks or a block, something to elevate the hips and to just let the blood flow down through the legs so that the legs won't fall asleep through this longer seated meditation. Okay, so rest the hands somewhere on the lap, maybe on the legs. Sitting up nice and tall, lifting up through the crown of the head and then rooting down through the base of the spine. And before you start to alter or deepen the breath, just first notice. Notice the quality of the breath that exists here. Notice where the breath is moving in the body. Notice if there's any tension in the jaw, in the cheeks, the forehead. Notice if you have a tendency to lean forward, and try to sit the head right over the heart and the heart right over the hips. Let the shoulders relax down and away from the ears, palms gently resting down. Let the palms face down towards the earth, and let this symbolize a grounded energy for your practice today. And now invite deeper breaths into the body, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Noticing sensation on the tip of the nose. Observing the temperature of the breath as you inhale. Notice the temperature of the breath as you exhale. The coolness and the warmth, the solar and the lunar qualities of the breath, the yin and the yang. So I'd like you to consider what your intention was for the last full moon. So if you missed the last full moon circle, or if you just didn't get a chance to set your intention, then consider something today that you'd really like to change in your life. And this could be perhaps adding something more to your life, or removing something from your life. So change can be part of the polarity as well, where we're either adding or removing. So what side of the spectrum do you fall on? Where does your intention fall? And with all this awareness on your intention, whether you're just now setting it or whether you're picking up where you left off from the full moon, consider here what needs to be done in order to add or remove something from your life. So what needs to happen? What actions would you need to take? And instead of thinking of the words, you could picture or visualize a scene, perhaps visualizing the actions that you need to take to make this intention a reality. And if you're not quite sure how to add or remove this intention into your life, perhaps you think about the opposite of your intention and just do the opposite of that. Noticing the breath as it moves in and out through the nostrils. Observing the temperature of the breath, the coolness of the inhale, the warmth of the exhale, the yin qualities of the inhale, the yang qualities of the exhale. Now start to notice all the parts of the body that are still feeling tightness, stickiness, stagnant energy. And start to send some loving breath to those areas. So perhaps you feel tightness in between the shoulder blades, behind the spine. So on your next inhale, bring your awareness to that space between the shoulder blades and let the breath energetically move here. And then exhale to release the tension. Now I want you to consider here in line with your intention. Who do you need to become in order to make this intention a reality? So, in what ways do you need to change? How will you be different? Once again, you can visualize these shifts, or perhaps just running over some words in your mind. Who do you need to become to be even closer to your intention? And there is no right or wrong here. This is all just your experience. Notice if there's any tension forming in between the eyebrows, releasing tension here in the jaw, the cheeks, the neck. Everything becomes soft, silky smooth, relaxed. Now consider the qualities of yin, the coolness, the stability, the groundedness, the dark, shadowy self, the stillness, the patience, the trust, the internal seeking. When you hear these qualities, what comes up for you? Do you recognize that you perhaps need more of this yin energy in your life? Or perhaps you can notice the qualities of yin that already exist. Perhaps bringing light to all this yin energy that you're already cultivating in your life. Where attention goes, energy flows. So bring your attention to these yin qualities in your life. And consider how you can invite more of these yin qualities into your life. Now placing one hand over the heart, one hand over the belly. Take a deep breath in through the nose and a soft exhale out of the mouth. Releasing any built up, pent up energy that is contributing to your level of impatience, of spaciness, of perfectionism, of people pleasing, of all of these things that are taking you out of yourself, out of your own love. And invite in some more love on your next inhale. Let this love fill up the low belly, rise up into the rib cage, and move all the way up into the collarbones. And exhale anything that blocks you from receiving this love. Now bringing the hands to heart center, Slight bow of the head, sending some honor to your fellow Moon Circle members that are currently practicing this meditation, or who will practice this meditation later, or who have already practiced this meditation. As a collective, it's important to reconnect to the collective energy and to honor this accumulation of love and energy that we're all working towards giving out and receiving. And before we close this meditation, I invite you to send some loving kindness. First to yourself, and then we'll release that loving kindness to others. So you can either repeat after me, or you can silently say it after me in your head, or maybe you just let the words wash over you. So first, directing the energy to you. May I be safe and protected. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I invite these yin, grounded, cool, stable energy into my life. May I know true love. And now sending some loving kindness out. First to someone that you know. May you be safe and protected. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you embrace the yin qualities of patience, groundedness, coolness, stability. May you know true love. Now sending this loving kindness to someone that perhaps you don't agree with at this moment. Perhaps they are on the opposite side of the spectrum, the polar opposite of where you lie. Picture this person in your mind. May you be safe and protected. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you know the yin qualities of patience, coolness, groundedness, and stability. May you know true love. And if you ever feel that a resentment is building, or you're feeling very angry or frustrated with someone that is not agreeing with you and not on the same side of the spectrum, you can always revisit this metta or loving kindness meditation to send them strength, love, patience, kindness, compassion, so that they too can overcome the obstacles that are blocking them from experiencing true love. Now I invite you to slowly open the eyes, perhaps keeping a soft gaze down towards the ground, reawakening your senses. Taking in colors, textures. You can slowly release the hands down to your lap. So I invite you to journal about your experience. And perhaps you go through the meditation once more, but instead of meditating, you just listen to the questions that were asked and then journal down some thoughts that maybe came up for you and expand on those. Because it's in these quiet and introspective times that we are really able to come face to face with what we're really seeking and what we really need to do. So with that, I will leave you. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening. I hope you enjoy this guided new moon meditation, and I look forward to sharing space with you at our next full moon circle. Namaste.